Good morning and welcome to Bulls and Bears. This is my introductory video into stock trading and how I manage my portfolios. The idea of this channel comes from many years of frustration and poor results investing the traditional way. 40 years of investing through mutual funds with so-called professionals, with overall returns no better than the market, if anything a little bit less, and then you take out fees and all that, and I'm behind the eight ball there. I went from doing that to taking a small portion of my portfolio and joining several different trading kind of clubs, trading programs. Again, very poor results overall. You get very high risk reward with a lot of these things. You can have some short-term success, but I found most of them to be very poorly structured and, to be honest, just very questionable on how authentic these programs were. So again, a couple, 2-3 years of very mixed results there that I wasn't happy with. And then basically what I did is I took 2 years to really study and understand technical trading. I have a science background. I'm very data orientated. And I just knew there had to be a better way out there. I spent 2 years with many different styles of portfolios trying to figure out which ones would be consistent, would give the results, and wouldn't take up 22 hours of my 24-hour day. And I boiled it down enough to be very confident now when I trade. And my results are speaking for themselves. I've made good money in down markets a couple of years ago during all through all the tariff garbage. Didn't make great money, but certainly didn't lose money. And that's the one thing I'm most proud of with these programs and with the setup I have. I don't lose money. I might not make as much as the next guy, but I don't lose. And when the markets are good, I make. And I've got the proof of it. This isn't investment advice or a trading club, so I don't give that to anyone to look at. On a one-on-one level, I'm happy to share whatever I have. You can always reach out to me, and I can give you more details on that. I don't charge for anything. I don't want anything. I have no interest in charging somebody $10 a month for an investment club. And why would I do that if I'm making a ton of money investing on my own? It makes no sense. That's why I don't understand these investment programs. Guys are claiming to be making millions and millions of dollars a year, and yet they're shilling out there for 20 or 30 or 40 bucks a month from some people that are just trying to learn. I don't understand that. So anyways, that's my story and my background, and we're going to give you some introduction tools that you're going to need as you follow along on this stuff. Again, all these are no charge. Very easy to get, very easy to use for tracking your stuff, and give you a ton of information at no charge. So the first one you want is what we see. This screen up here is called TradingView. TradingView is a fantastic tool. It's mandatory for anyone that does technical analysis, and it will give you a lot of feedback and take a lot of the worry and uncertainty out of how to trade. I've got the pro version. You don't need the pro version. You just need the free version. The pro version gives me the ability to develop scripts. And scripts are written, and the results are what you see here. You get these sell signals and buy signals and green buy signals and gray buy signals, short signals. And that's all the information that I put into the script that will create those signals. And this is just what I found works for me. And I've probably I said I trade 3 different ways. I've probably edited those scripts 100 times until I've got it the way I want it. And it's what works for me, and it's the foundation of how I trade. So TradingView is what you want to go get that. Great information on TradingView on all kinds of stuff. Second one you want is FinViz. Again, you don't need the pro version. You just need the free version. And on FinViz, you're going to get all your daily charts. You can get those anywhere. But most importantly, you're going to get up-to-date news, and you get lots of news. Here we're seeing Walmart stock falls on earnings miss, and we don't like to hear it. I don't hold it, so I do like to hear it because that might fall into one of my strategies, and I'm going to pop over here and take a look at that now. So bear with me, guys. You're getting a little bit of insight into what I do every single day to find stocks that I want to trade. And we see Walmart missed on earnings, and it's taking a beating, and it's falling. And what we see here is it's no such thing. It is not falling. It's actually 3 good green signals there. It fell from 102 down to 99. Oh my gosh, the sky's falling. Cash everything out and run. It's not doing anything. It's absolutely fine. So that's of no interest to me right now because I wanted to see a big fall there. So we want FinViz. And the third one we want is your Yahoo Finance. Go to Yahoo Finance and start putting some portfolios together, create a new portfolio. When you do this kind of stuff, you want to track it. You want to make sure it's working. Paper trade. I paper traded for 2 years before I actually put any money in, and I know the results. This portfolio here, for instance, sitting around 70,000. I started this portfolio in February with 50,000, so I'm about 40% on this one from February, March, April, May, June, July. 6.5 months, I'm up 40% on it. And this is just one of my strategies, and you can see what I carry in there. Ignore the bottom 2, EMPD. I do some day trading as well, and I'm absolutely awful at it. So EMPD was a day trade that I forgot to cash out at the end of the day. It wasn't a lot of money, so I said, just leave it in there. Who cares? We'll see what happens. Down 83% on it. So that's what happens when I don't follow my own strategy. And Emo here is a friend of mine. Is in the resource business up here in Canada. Put me onto it. Just as a flyer, took it down 24% on it. Again, didn't follow my own strategy. This is what happens when you listen to your friends at the bar. These are the same guys that they go to Vegas and win every single time. And when they buy a stock, they win every single time as well. So that just doesn't happen in the real world. You're going to lose more than you're going to win if you don't have a strategy. So that's the other one we want is Yahoo Finance. So yeah, 3 resources we're going to use. 3 different kind of portfolios I work with that I've boiled things down to. All successful. Maybe depends where your comfort level is. I run all 3 of them. I run about 8 to 10 stocks in each one of them, and they all work. The first one I call the Big Dogs portfolio. And I'm going to pop over here. This is, you can see the listing here. These are the big boys. These are your Mag 7, Mag 8, maybe a couple of big ones in the Dow or the one of the other indices. But you can see here, Alibaba, Google, Apple, Amazon, AVGO, HD, Costco, Meta, Microsoft, Tesla, AMD. There's a couple smaller ones in there. I might play around with these a little bit. And these down here, these are just suggestions from people that I know or advisors that I follow or people that I like on YouTube. And I'll play with these ones as well. But for the most part, I'm sticking with these here. And what these are stocks that I have so much comfort in that I know they will never, ever, ever go away. I know that's a big statement to make, but I am comfortable investing in these stocks regardless of what's going on in the world. And because I know they'll come back, I know they'll be around. And so we take a stock like, I think what I got, Broadcom here. We take a stock like Broadcom and we'll just keep riding it. So even if we buy it, if I get a signal to buy it at up here at, let's just say this signal here. Okay, so there's a signal to buy Broadcom, and boom, right away I get a sell signal. Oh, that sucks. I'm not selling it. 247 down to 204, 20% drop. Oh well, what are you going to do? I know it's going to be solid. And so what I'll do is I'll even buy some down here. And then I get another buy signal, so maybe I'll buy a little bit there. And all of a sudden now I've averaged that price out into this area here. So instead of my buy being 260, my average buy now is 217. And we see it moves up to 235, 234. Maybe you sell out there if you want to take a quick profit. I don't, because again, Broadcom's on my list. But somebody I want to be with. Turns and we get another sell signal here. That's fine. I'm holding. Maybe I want to free up a little cash if I think maybe it's going to go down even further. Okay, well, maybe I do sell a little bit here, like 30 or 40% of my position, and then I start picking it up on the way down. And all of a sudden, now I've brought my average cost basis down around here, down to the 185 area, and this is what I'm looking for. And this happens every single time at some point. If we averaged all around here, boom, there's that upside move up to here. We average and mess around here, boom, there's an upside move. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen at some point. And these are stocks that I am so comfortable in. I don't care. I'm averaging down. I'm staying in. I'm not losing any sleep over it. And then all of a sudden I get this. So my average cost in April 9th of 2025, my average ends 183. That's April. Now we're in August and we're at 305. All that was worth it. It worked. And that's all there is to it. So that's my big dog portfolio. That's where I got the majority of my money in is stocks like that. And you can certainly put whatever you want into these. I suggest that it be in the mega caps or in the very large caps because they're going to tend to be more solid. Put whatever you want in. But those have to be the stocks that you're not going to lose sleep over. You're not going to be checking every single day to see what happened. That you're going to go at the end of every whatever quarter or maybe I do mine every Sunday and decide if you want to buy more. And you're not often deciding if you're going to sell much. You're just, maybe you're freeing up some cash for a buy later on. Everyone's got a different way they want to manage their portfolios. But that's the big dogs. The second portfolio I run, I call the bungee cord strategy. And this is my newest one. I've been running this one for about 6 months, and I'm getting tremendous results with it. And I went very quickly from paper trading into full-time trading it, and it's doing very well for me. And so what this is I'm looking for stocks that have taken a hit. I want to see some that have taken a hit, and I can get back into with a comfort level that for whatever reason they dropped, I am confident that it's on the move back up. So there's two things that happen when a stock drops significantly. And this is a good example here. I don't even know what Mesa Laboratories is. Here is a pretty significant drop from 103 down to 76, even down to 67. All happening in a 2-week period in July. So that's a pretty significant drop. So I'm just going to put a circle around this Yeah, around, around this bottom area here. That's where it's doing some bottoming. And then obviously here, that's where it's doing some bottoming. Oops, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I have the right chart. So this is on the daily. That's the only one. That's the one I want to show. This is on the daily chart. Again, I'll get into more details. For whatever reason, stocks between $20 and $100 I track on the daily. Over $100 I track on a 3-day chart, and it's the way I've always done it. Don't know why. It just seems to work. So there's a bottom there. So this is on the daily chart. So what I want to do is find out, are we going to bounce and make some money, or are we going to collapse again? And there's a way to figure that one out. And I'm just looking up here a little higher because, oops, sorry. We can see up here. Let's just take this little move here. This isn't much of a move, but this is a fake out. This is it's called a dead cat bounce. It's a fake out. It's it's trying to get you to put your money in, so the guys that have a ton of money in can sell out and make a couple of bucks. So here it looks like we've hit a nice little bottom. That's fantastic. We get a little move to the upside. Comes across, another move to the upside. So it held here. It went up. It held, didn't fall hard. Held pretty good, and it went up again. Oh my gosh, we gotta buy. We gotta buy. We gotta buy. Look at this. Boom. Straight down. This is a fake out. Okay, and you see this all the time. What we're trying to decide is that a fake out where it's just going to drop again, the dead cat bounce, or is this a true recovery? And the way we do that is we go from the day down to the 4-hour and work from there. So up here, we get that green buy signal within the circle. To me, that is a buy right there. So we bought at 92.53, ran up to 102. With this strategy here and the next one, we're looking for a 10 to 15% take. I use 10. If I can get 10 out of it quick, I'm in, I'm out, I'm done, I go home, I'm happy. We're not looking long-term on these. I have no idea what this company does. I have no idea on its finances. I don't know if it's going to be around next week. I have no clue. I don't care. We're technical trading. So what I'm looking for here at 92 is I'm looking for a 101 take. So what I do is when I buy it, I put a line at 101. And boom, there I got it. That is my sell, my 10%. I bought June 18th. I sold July 7th. 2 weeks, I took 10% of my money. Can't complain with that. Let's go to the next one. There's the bottom. No green buy signal. The green buy signal on this is up here. It's outside of our zone. We want it in the circle. We get no green buy signal. There is no trade. Stay out of it. Go to the next one. There's the fall off. There's my green buy signal inside the circle. We're in at 57, so we're looking for 62, 63 to make our money. 63 is right around there. Look at that. We're out here. August 6, 2025. August 7th, 2025. One day we took our 10%. One day. You can't beat that. You just can't. If I miss that, Or even if I got to there and I see we're going to talk about this other buy signal later on, maybe I stay in. I've got a confirmation now of this buy. This is another way, and we'll talk about it more later on, but I bought here, and then this is saying not only was that a good buy there, we're seeing it now as a good buy here. We think it can go even higher. So if I stayed in on this trade, if I didn't sell there and I stayed in, and I get a buy signal at 67, I add 10% because that's what I want to take out of this is 10%, $6.70. So we're looking at 70. What is that? 70, 73, 74, somewhere around 74. So we're looking at that as our next take area, and we're slowly moving up to it. So this might be a 20% take. So we call this one the bungee cord strategy. And again, I'll go into detail later on that one. And the third one is a momentum strategy. Again, we trade it mostly on the days because it seems to be most of these stocks are between $20 and $100 for some reason. But again, I don't really care. I don't know these stocks. I don't know what they do. I don't really care. All I'm doing here is I'm going to pick one out that we currently have on. I'm getting some mixed results on these, but let's just take this one because it looks good. So I'm just going to clear the chart here. And so what we're looking for here is just positive momentum and jumping on the train. If you look down at the bottom here, these are again modified indicators from TradingView that I've altered the script to make them work for me, and they seem to work for me, so I stick with it. When they're in the red, you see it falling, and when you see in the green, you see it rising. Pretty straightforward. What I try to do here is you can see you got some those green bottom signals again here. I'm not looking for bottoms in this strategy. I'm not looking for bottoms at all. I want to jump on this train when it's up to speed. I'm not looking to sit on this train while it's stopped or even moving backwards a little bit and just sitting around until it can finally get going. I want to jump on this train when it's going full speed and I'm getting to A to B in the absolute quickest time possible. So that being said, $33 goes on to my buy. I don't like that one actually. This is a better example. I think I actually used that bottom strategy in this one. Another great example. I'll have to go check, but I'm 90% sure that what I did here is we saw a nice drop bottoming out in that area. Go to my 4 hour. I get a 4 hour confirmation right there, which is just within my circle, so I'm going to take it. So there's my buy, 31.18. I'm looking to take 10% out of that, which is roughly 34.40. 34.40. So it's right there. I take it. I take it. And just like that last one, look what's happening here. There's my 10% take right there. But we just got another buy confirmation that says, hey, we did buy at the right time. Good job. This thing could keep going a little bit. So what I might do here, I could set that as my stop loss. So 10% is the absolute minimum I'm going to make on this stock. Or I could take a little profit off the table and let it ride for a bit. And in this case here, I probably just take a little bit off the table and let it ride. And like we talked about, we're looking for 10% on these two strategies. And so it closed up here at 35. We would then put our goal on this one up around 38. So 35 plus 10% is a roughly 38. And that would be our next goal on this one. And if we could get a ride from 30 to 38, when did we get in this one? August 1st. And we got our 10% by August 20th. So what's that, about 14, 15 trading days, we ended up taking our 10%. If you can make 10% in a week to 2 weeks, like just take your money and run. You do that. You do that every 1 or 2 weeks. You're gonna have a lot of money in your account at the end of the year. And in this case here, maybe we let it ride a little bit. We take it from 30 to 38 and make some nice change on this one. And so what we're doing here is, sorry, I did say we're going to go to a better example, which is this one right here. We're jumping on the train with momentum, and I'm just going to clear this chart so I can show you guys better. And what we're doing is looking for these signals down here. That's what I'm looking for. It's right down at the bottom there. You can see I go from the light pink there into the green, which shows that the train is, the train was going backwards here pretty fast. It wasn't going backwards quite as fast. It stopped, and now the train's starting to move forward, and we like that. We want to see it moving forward, so we're going to jump on. We like that. It's moving forward. We're jumping on, so right around there. And then these two indicators here just monitor the speed of the train. You can see, and they're looking at volume. They're looking at relative volume. They're looking at they're looking at a lot of different stuff, to be honest, and I don't know what half of it is. But I'll let the people that originally designed these scripts, I'll give them credit's due. They work, and again, I don't care. I just know they work. And so what I see here is the train was going pretty quick, and it's just slowing down a little bit, just a little bit here. Maybe it's going up a bit of an incline or a mountain, and it's going to gain some speed on the way down. And this one up here is showing the same kind of thing. It was going up pretty good, just slowing down a little bit there. And we can't blame that. There's going to be some profit taking people that got in here at 47 and it popped up to 49 pretty quick. They're going to take profit. There's nothing wrong with what's going on. They just said, hey, they made their 10% and then they want out. And it'll bring new money and new blood into it, because people, whenever there's a sell, there's a buy. So the guy that sold up here had to sell to somebody, and the guy that bought there, he wants 10%. So he's looking for 55 now. He wants it to go up. So there's with the buyers and sellers, someone's always, you got to be looking to make money. So there's nothing wrong with it. People taking profit and seeing a little bit of a pullback into this area, and then boom again, a little bit of a pullback, and boom. When you got an uptrend like that, that's what's going to happen. And so that strategy there is a momentum strategy. We're jumping on the train as it's moving. The train's up to speed now, and we're getting on it, and we're going to get on it and get off quick and make our 10% real fast. The last two, and I mentioned this a couple times, the last two are companies. I don't care what those companies are. I screen, I look, and unless there's something major going on with that company, unless it's getting delisted, it's shareholder litigation, or it's just, if it's something big like that, then I stay away from it. If it's just like, what the heck made this one fall? Like, when you look at it here, it's it's doing fine until July 24th. There's no news, nothing's showing, and it drops straight down. Most likely because the analysts are putting out, the analysts are saying that it's not going to meet earnings. And, we're panicking, got to get out. This happens to be Bristol Myers Squibb. And so it is a solid company, just like over here on the right-hand side, you'll see McDonald's. Those are solid companies. These could also fit into the big dog categories. Play it that way if you like. There's crossover on these stocks all the time. But look, for no reason whatsoever, analysts are, it's not going to meet expectations, because these analysts are so smart. They're so smart that they work for companies instead of trading themselves and being multi-millionaires. They can't do that. They work for companies and tell other people how to be millionaires, because they can't do it themselves. And all of a sudden, boom, hey, earnings came out good. Look at that. Beat earnings by 33% and beat revenue by 7%. All the analysts were wrong. Killed it. We love it, because that's part of our strategy. We love it when this kind of stuff happens, and we make an easy 10 to 15 to 20 points on it, because the analysts probably scared people off. So that's fine. So that's the three strategies we're basically going to be dealing with. We're going to do a touch on market valuations towards the end of each video. We're going to try to keep the videos between 30 and 40 minutes, just so we can keep them fresh and not bore you. Market valuations, same kind of ideas. We're just applying it on a macro level now. So where we were talking about dealing in the day and the 4 hour and maybe a little bit in the 3 day, when we're talking about the big boys, like the TSX and the S&P and all that. So here we're going to pull up the S&P. To get a true understanding of what's going on, we have to look at a bigger time frame. I don't know if you're new to all this, they say when in doubt, zoom out. And what that means is, especially when we're charting, we can look at a short-term chart like the 4 hour, and oh my gosh, from here to here, the world's falling. Look at that. That's Armageddon. 6,100 down to 5,500. Sell everything you got. Batten up the houses. Same thing here. We got a drop from 5,600 down to 5,100. When you zoom out, that's on the 4 hour. When you zoom out to the weekly, those are the big ones. Those little ones that we saw were right in this area here. And they were, where was that other one I saw? I think probably something like in this area here. On the weekly chart, they don't look so bad. And I'll tell you this about the nice thing about technical analysis is it just works. And I usually try to go back about 10 to 15 years when I draw these. I call these channels. I'll go back 10 or 15 years because I think every 10 or 15 years there's kind of a reset on market valuations and the way companies are valued. And this channel that would have been way back here. So there, this would have been a channel way back here that ran for. That ran between 1985 to 2001, and so almost 20 years, and it stayed within that channel. Then there was a bit of a reset here. Something was going on, I don't know what, and there was a little bit of a reset. But when you look at the big picture here, what do you see? Isn't that channel almost identical to that channel? If I take that line I just drew and pull it over, look at that, right on top of it. The markets don't mess around. The markets are so predictable, it's crazy. People that tell you you can't predict the markets are just garbage. I say garbage with respect. It's a tough job to do. But you can just see from this right here, and we just drew these lines right now, the market's predictable. For 20 years, it acted in a certain way. It went a little sideways there for a little bit, not tremendously sideways. If it's for a little bit, it went, you can even draw that down to there, I guess. Went a little sideways, but for the most part, it stayed in those lines. Look at that. And so you zoom out and you're like, oh my gosh, things aren't so bad. You zoom in and it's like, oh my gosh, everything's falling, and it's just what's going on. So anyways, we do a bit of a macro view of the markets, and macro view of the markets I do on the weekly and the 3 day. And the same thing, I just look for my signals. I can play these a bunch of different ways. And all this is telling me is it's really what my equity versus cash position is in each of my portfolios. When I see a buy and we're in a positive uptrend, like right now, I'm 100% cash. People are saying we're overvalued. The markets are going to tank, this, that, and the other. Look at this chart. like the chart again doesn't lie on a weekly basis. Maybe I've drawn it off just a little bit here. Maybe it should be closer to there because I want to come across the top there. Maybe that should be more of the middle. But they don't lie. Right now we're sitting right in the middle. Right in the middle. My short-term target's around 6,800. My year target is around 8,200. I don't think we're going to see any real significant changes until we get probably up into this category here, right up in there, and then I think we'll see probably a correction or a sideways movement for a long time, just off the charts. And then you combine that with the fact that Trump needs to keep the market strong. If he doesn't keep the market strong, like that's the only thing that's saving him right now. I can't believe the market's strong. I honestly thought he was going to be just killed on these tariffs. And it still might come. I don't think we've seen the true inflation that the tariffs are going to cause right now. And so he's going to work very, very hard right now to keep money in the pockets of these companies, so their shareholders are going to be happy. Because if he loses the faith of the markets, he'll be in a lot of trouble. And that's why he's pushing Powell so hard. He doesn't truly believe that there needs to be an interest rate cuts. Overall, he wants those specifically so companies can access money, so companies will be paying less on their debt servicing, and so the USA will be paying less on its debt servicing, which are all good. On the other side, it could push inflation and it could hurt individuals. So we'll see what happens there. But the long story short on this one is I don't believe there's any panic situation right now. The markets are not topping out. There's going to be a little sideways movement here and there, but you're absolutely fine in the markets right now. So that's an overview of where the market's at. And this is a technical analysis, just using channels and my buy sell signals. And just out of interest, you can see that we got a double buy signal right here with no sell indications of any sell signals. So we're strong. And we'll look at it from a few different ways as well. I follow 5 or 6 really, really quality investors and tech guys with some fantastic insights. And I'm going to, when we talk about those, I will put them into the description at the bottom of the channel. And hope you guys follow them too, because there's no such thing as over-educating yourself on this kind of stuff. You want all the information in the world, but then you want to, on top of that, you want to keep it simple. But there's nothing wrong with having the information to work off of, and then trade with simplicity, and you'll be way ahead of the game. And then we'll always throw in a last thing will be questions. It'll be one-off situations that I've seen have come up during the week. It'll be maybe something interesting I've heard from the guys that I'm following that I think I could pass along to you. That would be helpful. And I'm going to do a quick one of those actually tomorrow on I had a really interesting situation with a friend of mine. I told you I was part of some investment groups for quite a while and tried different ones, never really panned out. And it's funny with people with investing, and I don't know if you found this. People are really resistant to new ideas when it comes to investing. If they've got an investment guy, that guy's the best. And you can talk to your blue in the face about how you're doing. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that maybe they're doing the wrong thing. So I don't pester my friends at all anymore with this kind of stuff. I hear what their returns are, and I nod my head. I had one really good friend that moved to an investment advisor this year, and he doesn't know a lot. And he said, give me a list of questions to ask this guy. So I gave him a list of questions, and I said, here's the answers you don't want to see, and here's the answers you want to see. And all he got was answers he didn't want to see. Yet he signed up with him, and he gave him all his money. And he came to me a few weeks ago and said, I'm glad I went with this guy, doing well this year. I'm up, I think he said 22% this year. And he's happy with that, which is great. Um, and it should be 22%. Very, he's happy, right? Um, you can see that the market is up roughly 15% this year. So he's outperforming the market by 5%. Now, he has to pay this guy to manage his money. Lots of mutual funds, so he's got to pay MERs on those. So his net return is probably closer to the 15 or 16 or 17%. He's not performing better than the market. He's just performing what the market is doing. He would be better off being in 2 mutual funds and a self-directed account and walk away from it. And he'd have more money in his pocket. But he hears 20 or 22% and thinks that's great. You've always got to compare your returns to the market. In an up market, everyone does well. In a down market, you want to protect yourself and you can get killed. So you always want to compare yourself to the market. So this guy's been in an investment club, and he had a bit of a blow up with a guy yesterday. And he called me, and we got together, and he showed me the situation. And I was just, I felt bad for him. I was appalled at this guy. He's got a bunch of members paying $100 a month for advice that is just, I don't know what it is. It's just so convoluted and unprofessional. And he got into a bit of an argument with this guy because he sends out these trade alerts, and one of the trade alerts, it's very, very obvious that this guy and his buddies that run the investment club have bought a bunch of this one stock, and then they all sent it out to their members at each and just ran this stock up like 25% within 15 minutes. And then they all dumped out, and they left all their members holding the bag. And it's so obvious from the charts and the alerts. And I guess my buddy sort of mentioned that this wasn't a very odd situation. And the guy that runs this club just went off on him. How dare you question my integrity? I've been in this business for 20 years and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm going to make a video about that one tomorrow. So I'm going to make one-off videos now and again when there's certain situations that occur, just to give you my feedback, and then take some questions. If there's anybody, when I do live, if there's anybody on there watching, take a couple of questions. And if the other thing I say, if I don't know stuff, I'll put you on to people that do. I've done this a long time now. I think the worst thing in the world is thinking that you know everything. If I don't know stuff, and I've probably got a resource for you that you could utilize to go get that information in a trustworthy way. And I'll pass that along to you too. My only motivation for running this is to make everybody better investors and to put more money in your pocket, take control of your finances and put more money in your pocket. Hopefully you guys hang around. I think it will be interesting. I will see, we're at 43 minutes now. I will keep them shorter than this because I know everybody has a life. So I will keep them under half an hour. And love to hear your comments and feedback on it. It's going to take a while to get this thing up and running and for you guys to get the vibe of how it's working. And the one thing I will do is just I'll show you my results. I don't, I think, paper trade them if you like. I don't think anybody should be putting money into what I say right now. I'll show you what I do and how I do it. And then you develop the skills to make those same decisions. And then if you want to, you put your money in. You can paper trade with me as I go through, set up those portfolios on Yahoo Finance. We'll paper trade for a little while, and I'll show you how it works. And every month or so, we'll sit back and take a look at the picks we made and the results, and we'll see if this is a worthwhile thing for you. So thank you very much for your time, guys. And tomorrow's little topic will be these investment clubs and what you should be looking out for as far as getting scammed. what's professional and what's not professional. And I'll tell you about my experience, and specifically this one that I just finished off with. And I'll give you the name of the club too. I don't care, because I think it's when you do things like this, you hold yourself out there to scrutiny. You hold yourself out there to criticism when you're doing things like this. And to be honest, I don't care. I've got taken advantage of enough times that that I'm passing the information along to you guys, so you guys got a heads up. So hopefully you share this one, you follow it, and we will see you next time.